Hey guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming. As some of you know me on Twitter, the Gaming Drag. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Minotaur Hotel, and this time I'm doing the safe for work path, so I don't have to block out as much. But anyway, y'all, let's go ahead and jump right back in. I got it about as close as I could to my previous save, so let's go ahead and jump right back in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go, girl. Alright. I am frightfully sorry. I was lost in thought. This floor is the master's quarters. It contains your bedroom, office, living room, and any other installations you wish to add. This room we are in, this was my bedroom. I serve the hotel, but above all else, I serve the master. It is often considered convenient to have me around, as I can cook and help the master however he sees fit. There were masters who had children, for instance. I would assist in tending to them, providing entertainment and play while the master rested. Master Jean-Marie was a man of culture. He enjoyed having me play my lyre for him at night. The Minotaur's gaze wanders away. His hands caress a wooden carving. The wine should be in the kitchen. The two of you go there. This time there's no purple stain on the floor or glass shards thrown about. The empty bottle is gingerly placed on the counter beside the sink. Asterion shrinks down again. At least he did not damage Master Jean-Marie's carvings. Was that the last bottle? No, I have one last bottle stashed away, and I'm sure it must be intact. There's no way he learned about that one. It's all the way downstairs. All the way? About 30 floors down, yes. Worry not, Master. It's getting late already. I can prepare you a proper meal and dust off your quarters. You may rest for the night. I shall deal with this affair after you've gone to sleep. No, I can't let you do that. You're in no state to go up and down the 30 flights of stairs. Tell me where to find the bottle. While I go down there, you can check over the quarters. If you want to go over the previous master's belongings. For a single moment, you see Asterion looking off to the side, pondering before giving his response. Very well. I obey. The 25th underground floor is much like this one without doors. You may command the hotel to reveal the way. It's where we've stored things over the centuries. All the way down the corridor, there's a wall painting. The bottle should be in front of it. You answer with a thumbs up as you summon a door out. Once more, you're enveloped by sunlight draping from the skylight. Your echoing footsteps have a sonority to them, a twinge of life in this abandoned hotel. Once you reach the ground floor, however, your path becomes darker. Your footsteps now sound shy in front of an oppressive veil. The 25th floor cannot come soon enough. A plaque on the featureless wall greets you. The door flickers in front of you with a similar eagerness. Ooh, pretty. The hallway extends far into the distance, its sides lined with all sorts of objects. Armor sets, furniture, statues, treasure chests full of trinkets from all ages. What do you do? The wine bottle. As you reach the corridor's end, the objects take a sharp turn to what you'd expect from a museum of ancient Greece. Ooh, pretty. There's the wall painting Asterion told you about. Right in front of it is a sealed bottle of wine. It's covered in dust, its label faded. You obtained a wine bottle. Oh, head of an axe. Off to the side, there's a glass case containing a jagged purple rock in the vague shape of a double-headed axe head. Vague shape? That's pretty, spot on, I'll say. It drips an oily, dark red liquid down the case. The goo is pulled on the case's bottom, wafting an unpleasant, bloody stench. The case is locked by an old padlock. You've got what you came here for. You make your way back upstairs. Actually, let's examine the trinkets. You take a moment to examine your surroundings. Off to the side, you notice a long display case with what appears to be a set of armor on mannequins. There's about a dozen different models, although they all vary from each other. They seem to have been made over multiple centuries. They all seem lightweight, not meant for large-scale warfare. A small plaque off to the side has Hotel Guard armor sets written on it, alongside the years in which each of the sets was manufactured. The oldest one dates back to the 14th century. It would seem, however, that the collection is not complete. There's one mannequin whose armor is partly missing. It has a purple sash tied to its waist. There's not much else to see in the armor sets. You proceed down the hallway. As you reach the corridor's end, the objects take a sharp turn to what you'd expect from a museum on ancient Greece. No. Okay, one second, y'all. Coffee time. Oh, yeah. That's the stuff right there, baby. Alright, let's go back upstairs. Okay. Sweet. Oh, that's pretty. The setting sun's orange tones color the entire apartment. It turns the suspended dust in the air into thousands of sparkling diamonds. The previous master's carvings stare at you, wide-eyed and beckoning you further into the quarters. The smell of old dust seems so small compared to how sweetly the room welcomes you. If a place could ever be alive, and if it could ever be naked, then this is it. The hotel itself embraces you, its intimacy laid bare. Nothing moves, and Asterion is nowhere to be seen. Silence reigns, save for a faint hum of life. You leave the wine bottle on the living room table. You delve deeper into your quarters, and the hum grows louder and sharper. It's like breathing, ragged and pained. The dust visible under the sunlight shudders. The sound is coming from the office. Asterion standing over the desk, his back to you, sobbing. Your footsteps are not enough to make him aware of your presence. The Minotaur sobs again and again, each one coming from deeper inside of him. They begin meek, hardly more than a snort, but he lays his hands on the desk and curls forward. His vertebrae just jut sharply from his deathly thin skin, made more obvious by how he hunches over. He spits out a sob from the depths of his lungs. The dam bursts. He breaks into a wave after wave of grunts and half-muffled screams. He presses his face against the desk and claws at it, leaving his marks in the pristine wood until he falls to the ground, curled up like a child. He sees you then with his tear-drenched eye and ignores your presence. Master or not, you are too small. He curls further into himself, mouth covered by his hands as he lets out another muffled yell. The Minotaur's voice breaks midway through and he goes silent, even if his mouth is still locked in agony. But Asterion looks up to you, aware of your presence, and makes no effort to hide or cower. In fact, he tries to speak, but you can't understand his slurred words, only that his voice is a tone of welcoming. You cross the gap, separating the two of you one step at a time. Asterion's eye does not avert from you. You sit by his side, back to the desk, and only then his gaze drops down to the floor into further sobbing. You drape an arm over his shoulder and you pull him into you. The Minotaur doubles down on his crying, now muffled by your shirt. His fingers dig into you. They'd hurt were he not so emaciated. You rub the back of his head and let the Minotaur go at his own pace. As the sun sets further, darkening the room, his crying grows quieter and more discreet as well. When all is dark except for the stars shining beyond the window, Asterion's hands relax and he slouches fully onto your chest. He almost seems to be asleep, but you catch his eye looking up at you. Asterion's pacified, but you give him a few more minutes to make sure. His fingers dig at you one last time right as he sighs. You pat him on the back and help him up. He says nothing about what just happened, but accepts your hand. And when you leave the office, he stays close by your side. Back in the living room, you guide Asterion to the sofa. He sits without questioning, but accompanies you with his gaze as you open the wine bottle and bring it over to him. It was just where you said it'd be. Asterion caresses the bottle. Thank you. Cheers. Cheers. Asterion forgoes using a glass entirely. He leans his head to the side so the wine doesn't drip from his exposed jawbone and drinks straight from the bottle. He savors the first gulp. He sighs, leaning his head back and lets out a groan as his entire body relaxes. Then he returns to the bottle, this time drinking in earnest. From the corner of his eye, he looks at you. A tinge of shame spreads on his face as a drop or two of wine drip from his exposed jaw. It doesn't take long before his arms start shaking, however, for his emaciated musculature holding the position for long as a challenge. Second, y'all. It is... coffee time! Oh yeah, that's so good. Delicious coffee. I had a cinnamon bun and coffee today because I have a long day ahead of me. So I will probably need that fat and sugar. Hold the bottle up for him. You stand and help him hold up the bottle. It's like bottle feeding a calf. Asterion looks up to you with a sharpened gaze. He does not reject your help, but his brow frowns and his eyes lock onto you in petulance. Oh, let's suggest you use a glass. You raise up a glass. Asterion takes the hint with a sideways smile. Once more, frightfully sorry, Master. Sometimes the beast gets the best of me. Even with the glass, he wastes no time and drinks the entire contents of the bottle without stopping, going so far as to shake the bottle to get the last drops. Asterion leans back on the sofa, a half-smile painted on his face. Thank you so much for the wine, Master. I feel better already. It won't be long now before it starts taking effect. 1 second, y'all. A little stuffy this morning. Don't mention it. It was nothing. Is that so? Master, if it is not impertinent of me, would you answer a few questions? Sure, I don't see how that could be a problem. I wish to know about the war. How did it end? War? Which war? The Second World War. The conflict between the Allies and the Axis. France was occupied. How did it end? Does France still exist? Yes, it does. France is doing fine. The Allies won the war. A lot of stuff happened since then. You briefly tell him France's history after the Second World War, especially the aftermath of the war. Oh, I'm so relieved to hear that. I spent all those years locked away thinking about it. Master Jean-Marie talked so many times about France. Paris this and that, but also about the countryside. The fields of lavender, the fragrances, the vineyards, all sorts of wine. Master Jean-Marie could never go a meal without a glass. He grew up in a village, near Bordeaux, yes. He always said his village's wine was the best, period. Master Jean-Marie fought in the Great War, too. He found his way to the hotel as a guest himself, a shell-shocked young man fresh off the battlefield. He inherited the deed from the previous master, and his rule over the hotel was a sight to behold. He was very kind. He had a preference for bringing in victims of war. It wasn't easy caring for so many amputees and shell-shocked men, but it was worth it. He loved it here, but I suppose he loved France the most. I couldn't dissuade him from returning home, to liberate his country. He died in 1944. I felt it right when it happened. Felt the bullet going through my head in the middle of the night. 1 week later, the next master arrived. Jean-Marie left a will, giving the hotel's deed to his brother, Master Clement. Clement wasn't bad at first. He was very eager to please, be of use to the guests. But there was something in him. Greed, I suppose. To merely be liked wasn't enough, you see. He and Master Jean-Marie differed greatly. Jean-Marie had a vision, to bring comfort to those affected by war. Clement, on the other hand, didn't want to be liked, but worshipped. He had his eyes on a guest, a woman who held his mind in the palm of her hand. I can only believe it went badly, and so well, you saw what he did to me. The guests are gone and the hotel has been left to rot. I had glimpsed the beginnings of madness in his eyes. I am no fool. It was clear he was no sane man, but I hoped he'd be harmless. I believe I met this Clement you speak of. He gave me the hotel's deed, talked a bit about himself, and he squandered his one chance at something good. He's senile now, can barely talk right. He was looking for someone to take over the place because none of his kids would do it. When I checked the deed, it all seemed like gibberish, too. I could only believe he wasn't thinking right and gave me some used napkin. He said he had done bad stuff during his life, but I never imagined it was bad as what I saw here. Asterian's brow is furrowed and his eye wanders. He twiddles his thumbs while you speak. He's still alive, then. He closes his eye, wrinkling his visage in anger. Asterian looks up to the ceiling. His voice is relaxed now, almost soothing, but it carries a spike of sobriety. Master, if once again you would accept it, may I ask a question? This one, however, may be out of place for me as a keeper. You give him permission. The labyrinth was created to torture me as punishment for my crime, but over the years the human masters chose to impose a different will onto this realm. It began with a young man who took pity on me, and over the generations it became a haven for the lost. Each master had a vision for it. We had a good run, a few good centuries ever since we started, until, as you saw, Clement came along. I wish to know your intentions. That is awfully out of place for me, as prisoner. You are my captor, and I shall obey whatever your will may be. Nonetheless, I wish to have my impertinent question answered. If it isn't much, is it your will to carry on with the hotel's mission, to offer sanctuary to those lost with nowhere to go? I should let you know before you answer that I am used to suffering. I've been through a lot worse than what you saw today. If your will is to torture me, like Master Clement did, you need not pretend. However, you accepted my oath and took me into your service, and now you've treated me with kindness. I would believe then that you are not like him. So tell me, is your wish to uphold the hotel's mission to provide respite to those in need? Be honest, if you will. My servitude to you remains regardless of your choice, as I have none myself. Do you wish to uphold the hotel's mission? Oh, that's actually probably an important decision. So let's, I want to do the right thing, Asterian. It may be hard for you to see that now, but I'm telling you the truth. I like to do what is best for the hotel and for you, which is why I have to ask, can I set you free? I'm your master, after all. It's not right to keep anyone as a slave. If I can, I want to set you free. Asterian looks off to the side, biting his fingernails. Your words did not have much of a soothing effect on him. It is kind of you, master, but it cannot be done. My sentence is for eternity, and I cannot escape it. Alright guys and gals, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right there. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and that notification bell. Leave a super thanks or a tip if you can, it always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!